Greetings, everyone. I'm going to do a quick video. Yeah, I don't know. My shirt is it's going through a fashion statement right now. I want to do a quick video about suicide and self-love, and where all this comes from. Yeah, Tila Swan did a video. Now this isn't a hit piece or anything. Tila Swan did a. I'm at a sausage party, and they're just cheer people up, maybe. Um, Tila Swan did a video about suicide, how somebody she knew that was not living well, and then committed suicide and reincarnated again not too long. Suicide is not something that you want to. Obviously, there's very many levels of it. Not something you want to glamorize at all. For example, I know I didn't want to go into this direction, but seems like I've been involved with it to some degree. To some degree, I might as well go into it a little bit. Not exactly I wanted to be involved with it. Wish I did not have to experience that, but anyway, not to say I've been involved with suicide, but somebody that did, and but actually, yeah, I guess I did have two cases I can talk about. But it is not something that, as for like Eric, for example, channeling Eric, like a health problem like that where you cannot function anymore. That's one thing. That's different than just, life's not going your way, you're just going to off yourself. Because if you do that, it's like, who doesn't have that situation? Boy, I've had enough of that in my life, that's for sure. I mean, I'm 36 now, going on 37. Life is finally turning around. It's been a desert space for a long time. It's been desert probably since high school until now. So it's been getting interesting, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, even that, a lot of people probably wouldn't want to live through that or handle that, for that matter, where everything you do doesn't really work out that well. You don't have any success in anything. You just go to your job and just like, what am I doing here? But as for Eric's situation, he couldn't function anymore, so he had pretty much no choice. I mean, it's like either I live forever in pain, or, and of course I know the No Name Syrian. Let's use that name. I was going to use the name as offensive, but I'm not going to do that. The No Name Syrian, I'm going to use that as a channeled a while ago. He had a lot of health problems, and he cut his life short, which he shouldn't have did. Because it was bad, but he was just weak, and he was kind of like a player, and his little girlfriend at the time that I eventually had a relationship with. Now, neither one of them have self-love at all. He's learning, finally. She doesn't have that. I don't know if she does anymore. She's not talking to me. I don't really care. I can't talk to her. She got kind of abusive at the end of the relationship, so I had to bail. I had to get out of there because she was so consumed by him, because she has no self-love for herself. So, without self-love, I mean, he wouldn't have, if he had self-love, first off, they probably would have never been together. Second off, she wouldn't be throwing her whole life away because of him. I've mentioned this before. I don't like talking about it, but it does go into this whole suicide situation. Because if she didn't have a kid, she probably would have followed him. And of course, she's very weak, so she's not, she hides very well. Apparently, she doesn't, we're all not perfect. But obviously, she has to put on this show in front of people. And, her public version is different from her alone version. And same goes with him. I'm not like that. I'm like, this is what you get all the time. Of course, at work, I might be a little bit more snarky, but other than that, this is me all the time. But for those two, they didn't. Yeah, there's no self-love there. There's no respect for themselves, really. So it's all about the show you're putting on to some degree, and self-love has a lot to do with those decisions. And after he committed suicide, the Syrian, no name Syrian, I was gonna call him something that it's kind of insulting, but whatever. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go there, but um, because he had a lot of health problems. He probably would have lived another 10 years. Maybe not doing well, but he probably could have lived a lot longer. That's an instant thing I got hit with when I found out he committed suicide. It's like, you didn't really have to do that. So then you had to pay for it in lower astral. Meaning, lower astral beings that know what they're doing, mess with them big time. And I guess I pissed him off a couple of times too. So he came after me because I'm not a fan of either one of them actually right now. I mean, with her, it was like a love relationship, at least I had for her. I'm not sure on her end anymore. But, she kind of threw her whole life into his world. It's like, for me, it was like I kind of got pounded in the head by memories of him from her, because she won't let him go for anything because she don't know how. Well, there's no self-love there, so how can you do that? And I can't be there involved with that. So yeah, it got kind of ugly at the end. Oh yeah, she pretty much was. Yeah, she went. Yeah, she felt like she was cheating on him. I mean, this guy's crossed over at least 2 or 3 years now, whatever it is. And I mean, for someone that's spiritually aware, which she is, her mind just went bye-bye basically. Accusing me of being negative, and I'm channeling back. I mean, it's like I checked out. I mean, she checked out. I checked out of her life apparently. So I couldn't talk my way out. I was like, what are you talking about? And I couldn't talk to her anymore. She was out of it. Probably still is in some degree. Well, self-love has a lot to do with that. And can avoid other, problems in your future. Meaning that these two are kind of like wrecking balls to some degree. Now, like his mother feels like she got blamed for it. She blamed herself for that little situation, which is not good. And but the one that's spiritually known, the ex-girlfriend of the deceased one, can go and tell her that. It's like, I don't know if she did or not. It's like, this is not your fault. This guy's got major issues, had nothing to do with the mother doing something wrong, had to do with him, and a lot of ego, a lot of narcissism was what I got. But whatever. He wanted to keep up appearances, and that wasn't working anymore. So, like I said, I mean, I had to experience that. It's like going to a haunted house and getting beat up, basically. You think you have feelings for her, and then she oh, but by the way, yeah, I love her because of their relationship, which is really twisted. It's like, no, I don't care about him at all. I care about you, but I guess that doesn't matter. So anyway, after that, I kind of got burned out of all of that. I just want nothing to do with it. And sort of, single life is looking really good. After that, it's like, what? When you have two burning buildings getting together, that's good for them. So anyway, but that's for self-love. There's no self-love there at all. And it takes some time to, you got to start liking yourself, basically. And for her, it seemed like it was impossible. It doesn't take much. I mean, it might take a long time. The reason I'm saying all this is because as you all go into healing and all this, you're going to see this stuff. One thing I picked up also is that they've had negative lifetimes that are not good. Let's put it that way. And he wasn't very friendly to her in another lifetime, but she's very insecure, so she's like, oh, you're Jesus and whatever. I don't know, it's something nuts. It's not good. So come into this world to clear a lot of that out. You clear all that out, become more positive. Of course, everyone has their own direction, but to get all your junk out, you come to this world because it's easier here apparently to flesh out a lot of the stuff you no longer need, so you can move on. Apparently, other worlds it takes longer, and here is a lot of negativity, so it's easier to flesh out a lot of that stuff. You can explore your negativity, but obviously you can push it out also. So that's why they're both here to clear out all this negativity. And these are people that are involved with, he wrote horror books. Yeah, that's a real good sign. One thing about Stephen King, though, he writes horror, but I don't see him as a very negative person. So it's different for everybody, but I don't see that. He's having whatever. But as for him, super a lot of negativity. As for creatively, heavy metal, just dark, low vibrational stuff. You can't take that away because that's what they're known for. They're used to that in their lifetimes. You're used to that negativity. And taking that away is like taking a part of them away. So they got to stay with that and let them release it when it's time. Suicide's not the answer, though. But suicide is common with those. Now, the reason I go into this is like the Gothic community. Not all, but many. Either were negative beings or just had a lot of negativity during their lifetimes. You can be if you have a lot of negativity, doesn't mean you're a negative person towards others. Mostly negative to yourself. Now, there's different versions of that. But with him, he was negative to other people. So he was going through a lot of karma from that. And with her, she just had a lot of negativity around her, a lot of insecurity and stuff like that from other lifetimes, actually. And you're just here to flush all that out. Of course, sometimes you need a couple of lifetimes for that, but it depends. It all depends. It's different for everybody. But basically, the reason I bring this up is when you go into healings, you're going to see this type of stuff. You're kind of going, now when I do these walking videos, that's where some of that came through. I wasn't even looking for that. It sort of came in on its own. It's like, so these people that are dabbling with a lot of negative, low vibrational stuff have had a negative lifetime before in some way. Not to say they're negative towards others, but just have a lot of negativity around him. Some do have negativity towards others. So when they come into this world, this low vibrational stuff, heavy metal, whatever is low vibrational, I guess it can be. I don't know anything about music. I'm going to stay out of that one, but I'm just going to use the heavy metal one as an example. And that's a lot of stuff to flesh out, basically. But they have to want to do that. That's their deal. It was kind of interesting to see that. So basically, when you do the healings, there's things you can't remove, but there's also things you can at least assist with. The biggest thing is self-love. It's very simple, but can be very complicated. And of course, the easy out is suicide. Of course, when you have suicide, I didn't exactly, like in high school time period, I didn't have a very good, I was ready to off myself. I never did it. I never tried to, but it's like, this sucks. So I moved to Disney to get away from a lot of stuff. But it was a dark period for me. Family was kind of useless. And, people at school, I just didn't get it. I'm in the wrong place. I guess, I don't know what it was. There's more to it. As for my DNA was shifting and the alien stuff was shifting slightly. The reptilian part, apparently, and I just couldn't get along with these. This is not me and these people. They're not. I don't belong with this kind of crowd at all, and this really sucks. So anyway, but that was really crappy, and I felt I guess suicide, but like you take that thought out of your mind because you leave it in there, it'll consume you. If you want death, you'll find it eventually, and that's what the darker forces want. But if it's like, that's not the direction you go into. Of course, I did have a friend. Now this is going to other things. I did have a friend. It gets better. I think I mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. And high school, that after high school, I knew from high school, after I came back from Disney, I think so. Yeah, he tried to commit suicide. I'm not going into details, but because of a girl. Anyway, she went contact him or something like that, or some nonsense. So he got put into the psych ward. Was Baker Act. His parents blamed me for it. It's like I don't even talk to him anymore because he's nuts. It's like I didn't know he was going to do that. I have nothing. He has other friends that are closer to him, but they had nothing to do with it. It was his deal. Yeah. Friends like these, who needs enemies? See what I mean? It's like, where's these good friends? I got all the crappy ones. Anyway, whatever. That's another story. And recently, our work. I don't think I ever mentioned this. Just to go into this, the suicide subject. At work, a company that we used to buy supplies from 10 years ago, back when the economy was doing all right. This guy bought that we know, bought the company. It's like sells old electronic stuff, let's put it that way, supplies. And of course, the economy took a tank. He didn't do anything about it. He didn't try. He just got really depressed instead of thinking that he bought the company, thinking everything would be fine. Everything wasn't fine. So, and I was the last one to see him. I didn't know he was going to do it or not, but I hardly ever saw him. But I would go over there to get supplies every once in a while, and he killed himself. He OD'd on a bunch of stuff. And I felt a lot of regret after he did that. I felt him cross over. Well, he's in the lower realms. I think he's higher up now, but it was not pleasant. And he just gave up on life, basically. He said it was because of his health, but he gave up on life. So, I mean, it's easy to do. And so, but the suicide part's not easy to do, because that's not always 100%, especially at the psych ward where my friend was at. There's a lot of there that didn't have successful suicides and drank bleach and stuff like that. So it's best just stay out of that altogether. But yeah, it's not fun stuff. So I mean, basically, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to give you my little version of it. But some of these people that are here now, you're going to run into this stuff. Have had low vibrational lifetimes before entering into this world. They like their dark stuff. They like their horror movies. Now, people like horror movies and are not very negative. I don't know that whole. I don't think so. Some just go for entertainment. They might have some. Yeah, they do have some negativity, obviously. Different versions of it. But these are like horror movie type of people. I'm not saying all horror, you know what I mean, though. But that type of stuff is an indication of some past lives stuff. The idea is to become a spiritual person and to move up your vibration. And of course, you have to go move at a certain pace. You don't want to go too fast. Go at your pace. But as you go into healing, you're going to see this type of stuff. Channeling, healing, whatever it might be. It's not a good subject at all. It's pretty, obviously. It's messy. But yeah, this one that I worked with, he's not doing well. Now, the Syrian I was talking about, he's a little bit more spiritually understanding, but still he's going through a lot. He's kind of like in a higher realm. I can see that, but still a lot of regret. It's like that was a big mistake. So, and the people that get hit by all this is just insane. Just, I can go into more into this. I don't want to go any further, but I can go into more details, but I'm not going to. So anyway, on a lighter note, I saw a sausage party as I take it easy. It's a good stoner movie. Had I was gonna put a screenshot of what. Yeah, I don't think this is in the. I don't think it's one of the characters in it. That's Gum. That's Gum. That's like the smartest. That's like the smartest. I'm not sure what in the world. The most intellectually smart person in the world, whatever it was, but. Anyway, that's what is it like that scientist? I can't think of his name. the one that's in the wheelchair. I forget. I can't remember his name right now. But you know, is that Hawking? Stephen Hawking? Yeah, it's gum. So it was funny. It had a lot of religious stuff all through it. I mean, it felt preachy. It was funny. It's worth watching on Netflix or something like that. It is. It had its moments. So that was probably a funny character in it. So anyway, much love, everyone. Hopefully, this is somewhat informative, helpful to others. That's the whole point of this. Just I don't know. The beings here are wish to have me say something about this. It came up a little bit in others that were attacking Tila Swan, and I don't think that's right to attack Tila Swan. Of course, she does seem like a downer to some degree, but that's okay. Whatever. She's reaching a lot of people. So I imagine if you're reaching that many people, I imagine you're helping some. I imagine quite a few she's helping. So she might not be. Nobody knows everything, obviously. No one's ever going to. But the suicide thing is not something to treat lightly at all. It's not the direction you want to go in at all. It's to get help wherever you can to get your mind out of that thinking, which is very hard to do. Yeah, it's very difficult. When you're in a depression, it's hard to find happiness. That's quite understandable. Yeah, that's where you've positive friends. Sometimes families aren't very helpful. And of course, this world has so many things thrown at us at once that it's hard to survive here. It's quite understandable. So much love to everyone. Blessings. And there might be a channeling after this. We'll see how things go.